you how to set up an encounter and also give it a little bit of a theme, maybe customize it a little bit, and then I want to talk to you how it relates to the combat tracker. I don't think I've covered this too in depth. I know that our other videos kind of covers it, but I want to focus on the combat tracker and how it changes according to some of the settings that you have in the options menu. So I'm using the D&D 5th edition rule set. The map that I'm using today was made by Map Hammer, and he has been a supporter of Fantasy Grounds College for a while. I've been his patron for a couple of years now, and he puts out some pretty good maps. This one is a cave spider lair. It has a lot of webbing, and as you can tell, there's some eggs laying around. So what I've done is put together my own encounter. So technically, to do that, all you would have to do is go into encounters, create a new encounter, and then drag your NPCs into here. But I'm not going to keep these tokens because I have the giant spider, which is going to be the mom. I'm going to have these 5 smaller spiders, which are about the size of tarantulas. Those are going to be like, spiders that are been around for a while, getting ready to leave the nest, like juveniles, I guess. And then these swarms are going to be a freshly hatched group of baby spiders. So it's kind of an icky looking thing, but it's going to be interesting. And I also changed the mood lighting to kind of darkness to kind of give you that feeling of the dark. So when I first put this map on here, it didn't have a grid, so I put a grid on here, and I didn't make the grid too small because I wanted you to be able to see any tokens I might be putting on here. And since I'm going to use fancier tokens, it might kind of wash out because of the color in the background. So some people like using these tokens here, which they're okay, but I kind of like the customized ones. So I'm going to see if I have any that I can use. So right now, I'm not going to change the base encounter, which has a token built into it. I'm actually just going to swap out the main token for each creature type. So I'm going to go to library, tokens. And I'm going to search spider first. Oh yeah, let's see. We got some nasty looking spiders. So here's a giant spider, perfect. So this is going to be mama spider. And all I'm going to do is unlock this encounter. And I'm going to drag this over and drop it onto the main token. So now this will replace the gear cog. And then there's this little animal spider thing, which is, kind of the size of a tarantula. So that one's going to be hard to see on the map, but I'm going to go ahead and use this token. So those are the juvenile spiders. And now I need a swarm. So I'm just going to use this. There's a swarm here. It's supposed to be rats, but, it's just a way to illustrate a big group of creatures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this. Or if I wanted to, let me check my desktop. I'm going to see if I have a swarm of spiders. Spider swarm. There's a bat swarm. Yeah, I don't really see anything that would really work. You could make your own, just take a whole bunch of smaller dots and use those. Or I could use the swarm of bats, which would probably look closer. But it'd be really hard to see. I mean, it's already going to be hard enough. So I'm just going to use this round token here. There we go. So there's the spider swarm. Here are the adolescent spiders, and here's mama spider. So I'm going to place these on the map ahead of time. So instead of sending it to the combat tracker right away, I want to go ahead and add these individually. So if I zoom out on the map, there's a couple places where the spiders can hide. So what I'm going to do is put Mama Spider over here. And I didn't do that right. So you have to drag the individual tokens, not the main token. So let me lock that. So Mama Spider should take up about roughly 4 squares. And then all these baby spiders, or the younger adolescent ones, I'm going to put them over here. And they're kind of at the point where they're getting ready to leave the nest. They're going to be hard to see, which is kind of cool in a way. See, as you can tell, there's not much contrast unless I zoom in. So all I'm doing is pre-placing them. And they are just as hungry as their mother, so they will attack. So these are what you'll see when you come into the lair. All right. So I placed all the younger ones. I got 2 up here, 1 over here. And then I'm going to put 1 closer to the entrance. You can hold the control key and mouse forward to make them a little bit bigger. So there's a couple hanging around out here. And then there's 1 closer to the egg sacs, which I'm going to bring them out in the open. Now for the egg sacs, I'm going to put a swarm inside of this area and this area. So here's a spider swarm right there. And another one right there. And move that one back. So there's some spider eggs, big mama spider, and then some juveniles. So I also have this pinned to the map. So when I come to this area, I can just click this. So right now they're not there, but when my players come to the map, I can click on this. And if I click the down arrow, they'll appear where I place them. Now let's talk about that. So right now, all of them have the default setting. So if they're sent over here, they'll be sent over as hostiles automatically. But if you want them neutral or good, you have to change these helmets. The other thing to keep in mind is I have everything pretty much on default. So if I put these over there now, it's going to change some of the settings according to what I have set up as default in Fantasy Ground. So what I'm talking about are the options for combat. So there's a couple things you can do to make this a little bit more interesting. So I'm going to hit the down arrow and I'll show you some things that happen. So I click the down arrow and now the enemy targets are now these red patches. Okay, so the red patches are basically your enemies. I put Mama Spider right there. Okay, so the players can't see those yet, and they can't see the ones in the combat tracker. That by default, they are invisible. So what I'm going to do here is, if you look at the combat tracker, what you'll see is that the big spider swarms have 19 for their initiative. The mom has 9, and then the other juveniles all have 6. And then they all have 1 hit point each. The mom has 26. The swarms have 22 each. So that is normally the default on how Fantasy Grounds would work. So I'm going to remove all these off the combat tracker temporarily, and I'm going to change some options. So I want some variation in how these appear. So first I'm going to remove them off the combat tracker, and this would be dealt with before the players connect to the table. So I'm going to click on menu, and there's a skull and crossbone that says delete from tracker. And it's going to say delete all non-friendlies or delete only foes. Non-friendlies are neutral. Foes are, the red helmets or even yellow. So now they're all gone. They're still placed on the map, but they are no longer active in the combat tracker. So I want to change some of the defaults. So you don't have to do this, but this makes things more interesting. So now when I change this add auto NPC initiatives, if I leave it on group, they'll just be 3 different groups. So I have the giant spider, the 5 juveniles, and the 2 swarms. Now if I change it to on, that means that when it's added to the combat tracker, all of them will have different initiative rolls, which is a little bit more realistic, I think. Auto numbering. So if I add these now, it'll give a number to the spiders in sequence, like 1 of 1, 2 of 2. But if you turn on this append, right now, that means anything I add will just keep adding sequentially. But if I go to random, it'll say like spider 50 or something like that, and it'll freak your party out. So that's a way to keep people from guessing how big or how strong the encounter is. The other thing is NPC rolls, fixed or variable. So what that means is on your stat blocks, when you have damaging spells or weapons, you have an average number. So when it says hit 10, which is an average of 4d4, that is the damage that they will do every time if you turn on NPC rolls fixed or variable. So that means it will be fixed at 10 or variable with the 4d4. Or in this case, there's a bite. It's a fixed at 5. So that's what that does. So I want to leave it at variable. I don't like to have the same amount of damage every time, but it does allow for you to control or know how many times it'll take to kill your party. So you can control the narrative so you don't get wild dice swings with damage. But I'm going to leave it on variable. The other thing you can do is you can change the movement on this battle map. So what I'm saying is anything that's on there, you can change the distance. And when I get the creatures up on here, I'll show you what I'm talking about. If you want to turn on the attack, fumble, and crits, you can, and that'll roll on a table, but you have to have the module loaded. And what it will do is give you messages if your party members roll 1 or a 20, or even if the monsters do. So the thing I was talking about was this map diagonal distance variant. If you leave it on standard, when you move, you'll move actually 45 feet or less if you move diagonally. So you only want your players to move 30 feet at the max, or depending on what their movement rate is. But it counts every other square as 10 feet diagonally. So you want to change that to variant. Now you have your death saves are automatically on. So when your characters go down in battle, it will show that the death saves will roll automatically. The other thing I like to pick is, let's see, I want their hit points to be different. So you have this, let's see, where is that? It is, there's your initiative, there's your numbering, there's your damage. It should say max, NPC hit points. So right now standard means it's going to take the number off the stat block. If you change it, what it's going to do is roll this 5d8 instead of just the same old hit points for everybody. So I like that. That's a variation you can put in there. You put random or maximum. That's if you want to make it really tough. I'm just going to put it on random. So now when I add these creatures, they'll have different hit points and they will all go on different rounds instead of everyone going at the same time and everyone having the same hit points. So now that I've changed those, what I'm going to do is click the down arrow. They're all back in their spots, but now all their initiatives are different. All their hit points are a little different. That way you get the variety. So that's the reason why you would change those. Now that they're on here, I'm going to bring in a character just to test this out. So I don't have any characters on the table, so I'm going to import one. How you do it is character selection. If you have characters already made in other sessions, you can import them, the XML file. So I'm going to hit import character, and I'm going to hit this up arrow again, and I'm going to navigate to my hard drive, and I am going to bring over, let's see, Amber the Silver Marshes. So this is Lady Shell's character. So now that she's available, I'm going to put her on the combat tracker first. You always do that. And then I'm going to bring up her character sheet. And I'm going to give her a picture. So that's going to be her photo. And then I'm going to find her a token. So I'm going to go to the token library. And I have some custom ones. Okay. So we'll just say that she accidentally wandered into this cave. So all of the creatures have already rolled their initiative. She's going to be down here at the bottom where this pin is. This pin is actually a shortcut. The shortcut, that leads to this, which is kind of a photo of what she might see as she's entering the caves. So I just found some photo of Spider Cave, and that's kind of what she sees as she's walking through. It's not an exact representation, but it kind of gives you that spooky feeling. So I'm going to put her token on the map. So she's down here on the battle map. So this is her starting location. Okay, so she's down here, Amber Frostbeard. All the spiders are up here, waiting for their next meal. Normally they would leave the cave, but this time someone's wandered into their lair. So Amber has dark vision, so she kind of sees the webbing in a way. She knows there's something wrong. And she's hearing like this weird skittering sound. So she doesn't have an initiative yet. So I'm going to open up her character sheet so I can see it better. So right now I have it nice and tall. And then I'm going to resize this map. It's a little big. I mean, for the stream, it's nice, but when you're actually playing, it's a whole different ball game here. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up and see I have it fit here. And then I'm going to go ahead and resize it. Adjust the vertical. There we go. So now it fits in the pocket. So I'm going to go and roll her initiative. So just double click in the center. She rolled a 2. So she's going to go last. So in round 1, she doesn't know they're here yet, but she knows something's coming up. So this spider can move 20 feet. So what I was talking about earlier is if you don't have the vertical variant on for the map distance, I'm going to go ahead and show you that. So I'm going to go to the options menu, and I'm going to go down here. Right now I have it on variant. So variant means it's going to calculate. If I have it on standard, what'll happen is this spider, if I move him diagonally, he's going to actually move 45 feet. And then I have to right click to lock the tokens. So that locks all of them, or you can unlock all of them. You can't pick and choose. So now if I hold the right control key down as the game master, I can keep track of how far he's moving. So if you look at this guy's moving like all the way over here. That's a large amount of movement. Now I can just pick the token up to cancel it. Now if I change it to variant, oh wait, that was variant. Standard, if I go to standard, 45 feet is way over here. So it's, 10 more feet basically. 15 feet actually, because of Pythagorean's theorem. So to accommodate that, or to calculate for that, you change this to variant. And now when you move the spider diagonally, it moves there. So it's like 2 squares difference. But this one can only move 20 feet. So he's going to move this way. And then I'm going to trace it to where he's moving there. So he's moving closer to the noise. He hears her feet scuffling on the stones. So that's his turn. So now this spider is highlighted, and it's the next one in line. So it's going to start moving that way. So he's moving that way. She hasn't seen anything yet, but she hears them. So the spider swarm they can move 20 feet. So it's going to move up here and right there, anticipating their new meal. So they're heading up. So this, I think I moved the wrong one. So I'll just move this one. So this swarm is moving up towards Amber. Mama spider is a lot more cautious. So she's going to actually move further back. She could move 30 feet, but I'm just going to have her move to there. So she's going further into her little burrow to hide. And she probably has, yeah, she has stealth. So I'm going to roll her stealth. Ooh, she rolled a 1. Ouch. So she must have hit something like a carcass and made it fall in this little tunnel that she hides in. So Amber knows there's something there. And she calls out, who goes there? So that's her basic thing, like she just shouted. This spider here moves 20 feet. And this spider moves 20 feet. So they're all moving. Spider 7, he's moving forward. So Mama Spider is hanging back. Okay. Now it's Amber's. So she's going to stop right here, look around, and then she can only move 25 feet. And she stops here, and she waves her weapon in front of it and finds these webs. So she's kind of cutting her way through these cobwebs. So it's going to be like difficult terrain. So she's going to lose like 5 feet of her movement. So she only moved 20 feet total. She can normally move 25, but she kind of slowed down. And she's getting ready to light a torch up. But she hears the spiders coming towards her, skittering in her direction. So she ends up getting ready to cast a spell, I believe. So this spider comes over here, and she sees this one now. So that's spider number 1. So I can change this little eyeball. Now she sees it. She says, "There you are, you little bugger." Doesn't realize what else is coming. And this whole swarm heard her voice. So they're going towards her. This spider group here is still kind of coming closer. Mama spider staying put. This spider here is going to move through here and move through its allies, but it's going to lose 5 feet, so it can only move 15. Spider 2 is going. Yeah. So the spider is close enough to her to be in range. So what it does is it tries to bite her. So it comes marching up to her, and it's on the ground, and it's kind of moving fairly quick. And it tries to climb up her leg, basically, and bite her. Holy cow, you rolled a 20 right off the bat. Luckily, she has her dwarven resistance to poison, so I got to make sure I enable that. So in her abilities, she has this dwarven resilience, and it's supposed to be on, which I don't have it on yet. So she has that, and what that does is it gives her advantage on saving throws and then resistance. So now when the spider bites, it does 1 point of damage, and then she gets to save. And she saved with a 20. So, wow, some big rolls here. So she took a point of piercing damage, but it didn't do any real harm to her. And she was able to save. So that's pretty good. And what it says here is the poison, you have to succeed or take damage. So in this case, she didn't take any damage from the poison. So this spider is heading towards her. So that's her. All right, Amber. She realizes that she's in trouble. So immediately, instead of attacking this little spider, she's going to cast Bless on herself. So that will be one of her domain spells. So first I put the Bless effect on her, and then she's going to drag this effect onto her so she has better chance to save. And she has a bonus action, which is a spiritual weapon. So if she wanted to, she can use that. I think she'll wait. And then I think she's pretty much taken her turn. I think she's going to move here so she can't get totally surrounded. So she's got her side up to the wall here, and that's her turn. All right, so this spider is moving forward. So it's getting closer. Hey, good evening, Lord Arctic. Salutations, guys. Yeah, I'm just kind of showing everyone how to use the. Yeah, this is Unity Classic for sure. I'm just showing people how to use the encounters, and also how it corresponds with the options in the combat tracker. So basically, I showed how you can change the diagonal distance, and then I also showed that you can have the hit points and the initiative rolls variable instead of the same all the time. So that's what I've been covering. And then I'm just kind of showing the spiders that can move and see how this plays out. So I'm not going to go through the entire combat, but I am going to show something. So Amber has casted Bless on herself, and she's basically preparing for the worst. So this spider just moved. This spider is going to move in on her. And it also tries to bite. So it's trying to climb up her leg. And it rolled a 1. So it basically loses its turn. It can't move anymore. And on its next attack, it's going to probably end up having disadvantage or something like that. So this one here this swarm is moving here. And they don't have normal movement restrictions because they're really small. So they can pass around their allies. So that's its turn. This one is going to follow suit. So all the little babies are hungry. Mama spider is still hanging back. She's just waiting. She's going to let her children feed if need be. So this spider moves into that position and does a bite attack. And he was able to get past her armor, which sucks. But she has good saving throws. Oh, she still failed. What do you know? And huh. So she failed. So now for the damage. She was able to concentrate. She only took a point or two of damage. So it's not too bad as far as so she knows these guys are poisonous now. She can feel the burning in her arms. And this spider goes and he hits her. Does 1 point of piercing damage. She succeeded that one. So she gets no damage. So this spider is moving closer. Now it's her turn. So I think she's going to use her Sacred Flame. Yeah, she has a really pretty good set of spells here. So Sacred Flame. So it's a radiance. It descends upon the target. You have to make a dexterity throw or take 1d8. The spell's damage is increased by d8 when you reach a certain level. So what level is she? She's only 3rd level. So she's going to Sacred Flame this swarm here. Because these spiders are pretty much already on her. Well, she might have to do this one. But I don't think that's going to be very effective. So instead of that, I think what she's going to do is summon her Spiritual Hammer. So that's a bonus action. So she's going to swing her hammer first and try to take one of these guys out. So she was successful at hitting this spider here. Her hammer comes down and just smashes that creature. So as you can see, this creature's dead now. So Amber is going to cast a bonus spell. It's going to do a spiritual hammer, so I'm going to draw a circle for that. Some people have nice fancy tokens. I'm just going to use that. So she places it there and has it attack for the bonus action. And I'm going to put that effect on her so I know that she has Spiritual Hammer active. And her hammer hit. No problem. The Spiritual Hammer. It's spiritual weapon. All right, so she took those two out. So far she's doing okay. All right, so this spider comes on over. And he attacks. So he again tries to climb on her. And he missed. So the swarm comes over. And it has resistance to a lot of different things. So this is going to be hard to kill it. So it's going to attack with all these bites. So a bunch of little teeny bitty spiders are biting her. But her armor is protecting her from them for the time being until they find the cracks in her armor. So she's okay right now. So this thing is moving towards her. Now I'm going to hit the down arrow again. Mama Bear is going to move up to here because she heard some death going on. And she's going to roll stealth again. Yep, so she rolled a 12. So she isn't being too quiet, but Hannah is kind of preoccupied. She can't see her. So this spider attacks. And it missed. So her armor protected her. These spiders here are going to come over this way. And realizes it can't really get an edgewise in, so it's going to try to flank her. So it's going to go around. So Hannah is going to, again, use her regular hammer on the spider. This time, though, she's going to hit all the small ones. So she has a magical warhammer +1. So she swings it at them. And she's able to connect. And the head of that hammer, it does 6 points of damage, but they had partial resistance. So it's not as effective. But she did do a little bit of damage to him. And now she's going to direct her spiritual hammer to attack the spider. And that was effective. Very good. And she took that spider out. So that spider's gone. And I think she's going to stay put, and she doesn't have anything else she can do. So now the spider swarm attacks her again. So this time they were able to find purchase on her. Ouch. She maintained her concentration, but she took a lot of damage. So she took 11 points of damage. So that was hurtful. So this next swarm is coming. So she's going to be overwhelmed here shortly. This big mama spider isn't playing around no more, so she's going to move her full movement. Not trying to be stealthy. She hears her children dying, so she's on her way. This spider attacks this small one down here. So just gonna do a point of damage if it hits. And that one missed. So that's its turn. And it's going to move up. And that's its turn. So this spider here moves up and also tries to bite her. And her armor is tough, but he got past it. So she took a point of damage, and she got her concentration. And she succeeded on her poison save. Now she's going to use her hammer again. So she hits a bunch of those little baby spiders. And yeah, she didn't do much damage, but she's whittling them away. They still got a few hit points. Plus she's got another swarm coming. All right, so speaking of, this swarm attacks her. And it missed. So her armor's protecting her for the most part. And I forgot to have Hannah's hammer attack, so I'm going to do that now. So that hit. And took that spider out. So she's doing good against one-on-one, but that's pretty much it. And this one moves in and takes the place of the other. And it tries to bite her, the group of them. And they missed. So she's lucky. So she's covered with spiders right now. So Mama Spider is going to move out here. And so she lets out this high-pitched squeal. And Hannah says a little prayer to herself. She's pretty much just saying, "Oh, I'm gone." So this spider here, the last of the juvenile, he scores a hit. So he must have found a little spot in her armor. Does a point of damage. She succeeded on her saving throw, which is good. She saved against the poison. Okay, Amber has to do something. So she has Channel Divinity, which is heal. So she's going to just dump that on her. So she basically healed herself back to that. I'm going to check that off. So she used her Channel Divinity on herself, said her prayer, and then she's going to direct her spiritual hammer on this spider here. So spiritual weapon. And it just comes down on top of it, thumps it. So just a forceful hit. And that spider is out. So if you're wondering what the tombstones are about, that is a extension. It's called Death Indicator, and it's been updated. It's pretty sweet. It's was originally just blood splats, but Valerian and Diablo Bob and some others made this a lot cooler. So that's that. And I think Kiana's turn is over. So now the swarms go. And those hit. Ouch. And she saved, thank God, but she took quite a bit of damage. Same type of attack. Just a big mob of little baby spiders. And they missed, thank God. However, Mama Spider, she comes up here and then moves here. And then she shoots a web at her. So the web attack has a +5. Oh, and now Hannah is restrained. That's really going to suck. Okay, so she's going to spend her turn trying to get off this web. So she'll probably take a torch to try to burn it or something. But whatever she's doing, she has to make a strength check. So let me see what it says. So the web, yeah, she has to roll a 12 or higher, a DC 12 strength check. Okay, so strength check. Oops, the hell happened there? I did it twice. Well, either way, she failed, so that sucks. So the next group of spiders goes, and I'm going to say that, ooh, they still missed with advantage. Same group or a different group. Yep, another miss, thank God. Oh, and the web recharged too. Well, the spider isn't going to try to web her again, but it's moved into attack position, and it's going for a bite. Ooh, lucky. It missed. Okay, Amber is going to try to break free again. So she's going to do a strength save. And she failed, so she's still restrained. Which really sucks. Wow. Okay, so yeah. I don't know if she's going to survive this or what. But I don't know if she can direct her weapon or not. I'm just going to say she can. So she still has it cast. She hasn't lost it or anything. So I guess she'll be able to use her spiritual hammer and command it to attack. Probably can't direct it to move, but it's definitely going to be attacking the big spider. So spiritual weapon, it flails and misses the spider. So boo. So that was at disadvantage too, so that's probably why I'm going to allow for it. Oh, they do a critical hit on her. Damn it. Ooh, all that damage, but she still maintains her concentration. But she took she's got like 1 hit point left. Okay, so next attack. Oh my God. Yep, she's gone. So she went down. The spiders finally overwhelmed her. She put up a good fight. Mama Spider is going to start trying to wrap her up. So Mama Spider is trying to grapple her. Well, she made her death save though. The spider swarm is basically trying to bite her. Oof. The other spider guys are still biting on her, feeding basically. Oof, that sucks. Giant spider is letting the children feed. And Hannah makes another death save. So she's 2 for 2 now. So the spiders are basically feasting. Yep, Hannah died, unfortunately. There lies Hannah, or not Hannah, but Amber Frostbeard. So there you go. So that was just a quick encounter. Hopefully you guys learned a little bit. I showed you how to set up the encounter, how to customize them. Pinned an image on here to kind of give this some ambiance. And then I went through the options in the options menu. So what I did is showed you how to turn on the numbering so it changes the numbering so it's not the same so people can't guess the strength of your encounter. I also put on random variable rolls so that when they roll damage, that's default, but that will do the random damage instead of a fixed number. And then their initiative was on, so they roll initiative instead of having all the same. And then the other thing was the changing the hit points to be random. So that makes the combat a little bit more interesting and not so predictable. Unfortunately, Amber Frostbeard lost her life in the spider cave. She did pretty good though. So here we go. Now the spider is going to drag her to the nest, and that is the end. So that will be the conclusion of this little adventure. Sorry, Amber, didn't mean to take you out, but that's just how it goes. So that'll be it. Anybody need any help? Come to Fantasy Grounds College, www.fantasygroundscollege.net. You can also see the links down below, and I will upload this video to YouTube. So everybody have a good evening, and I will call it a night. Thank you.